This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic.
Hello, Bright Soul. Thank you so much for joining me on another podcast. We are in a frigid winter weather storm here in Colorado, but I am inside coming to you and so grateful that you're here with me. And I want to thank you for all of you and to all of you for showing up, your support, your feedback, your donations. Thank you. And if you're not a member of my Patreon, we would love to have you over in our High Vibe Lightworker Tribe. The link is in my show notes. And I want to get into the topic for today, and that is sharing with you why I switched from Reiki to Pranic Healing. This journey has been so fascinating. First, I wanted to share the reason I ever even created this YouTube channel. If you're listening to me on Spotify, I have healings on YouTube, which is where my journey started, was divine guidance. So I had learned Reiki, and I work full time, and this is a passion, and it's something I do in my spare time. It's not something I do full time. And I would have people that would reach out to me for help. And as a single mom who was working full time, I couldn't always get to people. And one day I was in meditation and I received really strong guidance to create these healings on YouTube. And if you go to my very first healings, they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. But it doesn't matter. I have to leave them up because the energy is there and I was following my guidance. So this is how I started doing the YouTube channel. It was divine guidance, and I set it up exactly the way I do my private sessions. Over the years, I'll get people that say, I can't see your hands. What are you doing? If I'm in a private session with you, I do not want you watching me. I do not want you watching me in your head, analyzing me, because you're not going into your inner world, into your heart, and receiving the healing energy. So there is no point of me showing my face and you staring at me doing the healing when what you need to be doing is relaxing and receiving. Close your eyes, lie down, receive it. So that's the reason why I have my channel set up the way I do, because I'm not supposed to be a cookie cutter like everyone else. And if you're drawn to people that you can sit and stare and watch, then go follow those people. Those are your people. I'm not your person. I'm not for everyone. I'm for the few, not for the many. And so that is the reason why I did it. And so over the years, it's really interesting because I didn't just stop at Reiki. I studied with Deborah King. I learned her healing modalities. I've taken shamanic classes. I've read books. I've dabbled in all kinds of energy healing modalities and techniques because I'm passionate about it and I'm fascinated by it. And it's a calling and it's not new to me. I've done it in other lifetimes. So I shared in a previous podcast, when I started Reiki, I knew things that I wasn't taught. So the person that was teaching me during my training, I would just be blurting out things that she didn't teach me. And then she'd say, well, how do you know that? And it was interesting because she was trying to learn from me, but there was this weird, I don't even want to get into it. The energy was a little bit strange. So she said, well, how do you know that? Or how do you do this? And I was just a student and humble and just sharing. And I later realized this is just not new. This is something I stepped into. I evolved with it quickly because it's not new to me in this lifetime. And then what happened is as I mastered it, I'm ready for something new. And that's my personality. I like to master something and then what's next, because my learning it's not going to just stop there. It isn't who I am in any realm of life. It's just the way that I'm wired. So as I said, even while I was doing Reiki, I got that down. I started dabbling in other things, learning other things. And then I learned Pranic Healing. The way that I stumbled upon Pranic Healing is when Doreen Virtue, before she had this awakening and renounced all her work, I think that's the right word, and said all her work was not good. I had studied with her under her Angel Tarot certification. Again, I was just taking as many classes as possible. If I'm drawn to it, if I hear it on the radio, let me just learn it and let me take what I can gather from that and throw away the rest. So if I'm honest with you, it was for a very short period of time that I ever just did Reiki. Even on my YouTube channel where it says Reiki for something, it's still mixed modalities. So it was always entertaining when people comment and go, well, this one was more powerful when it was just Reiki. It was never just Reiki. You don't know what you're talking about. You're responding to the energy. You're responding to the energy, but you're hung up on wanting to know the modality when what you really need to be doing is, does it resonate? Does it feel good? Is this something my soul is saying yes to? Instead of getting caught up in the nuances. In any case, I digress. So I had gotten on Doreen's radio show and I talked to her about my frustration with readings, which is something that I've shared with you here on several occasions. People get really caught up in not trusting the unknown, just hyper focused on wanting these answers that can come from within anyway. And they're wanting me to say something so they can blame me for it. And I can feel that energy. So they'll say, is this person cheating on me? I need to know right now. And they're wanting to blame. You said, and they're taking notes. And I can sniff that energy out instantly. And I don't want to work with people like that. And I don't want to do that kind of work because everything exists in energetic potential. And I am not a fortune teller. I am simply an energetic interpreter. So if I ever get a reading, I'm not ever going to pin the person down and say, you said. What I'm going to do is listen to what my soul is saying. And if it resonates, I'm going to take it. If it doesn't, it does not. And I'm going to understand that I'm a powerful creator and any information I need at any given time will be revealed to me, and that I can relax and trust and know I'm going to be okay no matter what. So I was wanting more higher aligned clients, not the ones that are just stuck and don't want to do their work and want to tell themselves the same story. And so I asked Doreen about it, and she said, I think these readings are slowing you down. I think you should stop doing it. I think you should develop your own healing modality. What? Excuse me? And it was on the air. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. I don't think I really want to do that. And she goes, well, have you ever learned pranic healing? And I'm like, no, I have not. I saw pranic healing being done once at a health fair, and I thought it was really interesting because pranic healing is a no-touch system, and I saw them doing it without the touch. With Reiki, I always do distance healing. I don't do anything in person. I used to do it in person when I was learning, but I don't have the space for it, and there's no reason for me to have the space for it when I can do it much quicker distance, because I can get your whole body. I'm not going to go into the nuances of it, but I can do it much more quickly distance than I can do in person. So I do everything remotely. So once again, over the years, I get people, well, I want it done in person. I need it done in person. But then I'm not the person for you. And you can find someone in person. There's lots of people that do it in person. So it's like we have to stay in alignment with what we're called to do. So because she mentioned that to me, and I was in Colorado at the time, I got online and I looked up Pranic Healing, and lo and behold, one of my dear friends, it was her first Pranic Healing class that she was teaching. She was teaching it, and it was coming up in like a couple of weeks. So it was complete divine intervention, and I took the class, and it was really interesting because I didn't resonate with Master Choa's accent, the way we were doing Meditation Twin Hearts. It felt odd because he has a very strong accent. I didn't understand it. And I was walking into it. Most people in there had already done the meditations. I hadn't, but I was so sensitive. I'm open because I'm already attuned. So I was explaining to her like, oh, like I can feel all this. My energy centers are already attuned. So in any case, I'm like, well, this is different than Reiki because pranic healing is more work than Reiki. It's more work. It's protocol based. You have to clean before you energize. Whereas Reiki is, you get the attunements, you turn the energy on, and you just run it. That's it. So there isn't anything specific. There's no protocols. You just simply, and it works on a 7 chakra system, whereas pranic healing works on 11 chakras or more, 12 chakras or more. There's more chakras even than that, but it's a more advanced system. And so I'm like, well, this is really interesting. This is more work to do, but I took the class and let me practice it. So my current clients that I had as Reiki clients, I just asked them, hey, can I try this with you? And you give me feedback. I won't charge you for the pranic healing piece, but could you please just share with me your experience and what's the difference? What's interesting about it is my clients were saying, okay, this feels more powerful, but not as relaxing. So Reiki is almost like, oh, this is just a drifty spa kind of experience. where I just it's almost like going and being pampered at the spa. Whereas Pranic Healing was like, I just got cleaned up. Like I went through a rigorous cleaning that I now feel better, and it was more potent and more effective over time. So all of my clients chose to move to Pranic Healing because they got way more results with Pranic Healing. And again, Pranic Healing is not the only thing I've learned. Even since I've taken Pranic Healing, I've done 2 shamanic courses to help people that got I don't want to get censored, but who took that thing and had to get boosted and all that thing, and they had adverse reactions. I took a course to help people with that. I don't want to do those healings. I only do them when I'm told because it's just a dark energy. I don't want to work in it. In any case, through that, I learned all this restructuring your chakras through this shamanic practice. I work personally and mentored by someone who does shamanic work, and I'm a huge proponent of breath work. So I started going up the ladder of Pranic Healing. So I did the level 1, I did the advanced, I did the psychotherapy, I did the crystal healing. Now I'm doing our Haddock yoga prep. Interesting enough, I had to wait a while for the crystal healing to come around, and it came around right after my father passed. So I'm like, well, this is my path. I want to take this course. It's going to speed up my healings, and it does speed up my healing, which is so I want to be as efficient as possible to give my clients the most bang for their buck. I want to help them as efficiently as possible for as much as their body can handle. So and I bought the crystal and everything during that class, and I was so excited, even though I was in the depths of my grief. And so people in the class were like uncomfortable with the crystal, and I was waving it around like I've had it my whole life. Again, I remembered. It's not new to me. So Pranic Healing, it's hard for me to just do Reiki because Reiki doesn't clean where Pranic Healing does. So Reiki just stuffs more energy into the energy body, whereas Pranic Healing systematically empties the energy first and then puts in clean energy. So it ends up being far more effective. So interesting enough, I was keeping with the theme of my channel, Reiki for this, Reiki for that. And I was using a little bit of Reiki, but a lot of Pranic Healing. So I'd use Pranic Healing first and then Reiki. And I just started feeling this conviction about, no, this isn't just Reiki. Reiki pulls people in because it's a little bit more mainstream now. Now everyone can learn Reiki. They can go online and learn Reiki. I had actually learned with a teacher and get the symbols blown into my crown. That's the way it should be done, in my opinion. I don't think that you can learn all these things online. We're now in this era of quick fix, online, overnight. All of a sudden, I'm a master healer. I've taken 2 classes. Stop it. No, you have to let things cook. You've got to do the work. You have to practice it. So I'm a little bit traditional in that sense. So because my healings are intuitive, so I tune in, even when I'm doing collective healings, I tune into the collective and I let the beings guide me about what that particular healing is going to be. So there could be a recipe foundation of what energy centers I will be working on, but I follow my intuition. So when people are trying to recreate it and duplicate it, and I've gotten emails over the years where they're like, I like this healing. What specifically are you doing so I can do that for my community? I don't remember, and I don't pay attention to the music because who cares about the music? I'm focusing on what I'm getting and where I'm being guided to do the healing. So I do that in all my healings, even when I was doing Reiki. So I would do all these other things and then do Reiki too, and it's primarily Reiki. So I say it's Reiki, and it draws people in because they're drawn to that modality, and people get very hung up in that. And it's in their mental body. They're not receiving it in their heart. And all of a sudden I just said, you know what? I know Pranic Healing isn't as well known, and maybe part of my purpose is to introduce people to it, because people were drawn to the healing that I was putting out, and they want to box it into Reiki, even though it was never boxed into Reiki. It's just what they thought it was, and they call it that, and you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Is it helping you is my point. Is it helping you? Is it helping humanity? If it is, then I feel like I'm doing my job, what I'm supposed to be here to do. However, in my private sessions now, I start with Pranic Healing always because of the cleaning modalities, because it's a clean system, it's an efficient system, and I'm not just going to run energy on top of you already being dirty and full. If you're going to clutter clear something, to bring more stuff in or remodel a space, you don't just pack it full of stuff. You clean it out first, and then you put new things in. And those are the principles of it. And with pranic healing, there are certain protocols for everything, for physical ailments, for depression, for emotional stuff. And so I have a manual that I can open, and it tells me systematically, like a recipe book, what to work on with you, which I will do. But I'm also listening to my intuition, and I'll work on other things that need to be adjusted, need to be attuned. And like I said, I've learned other modalities that I pull in if the soul is asking me to. So it's all intuition based, with mostly the foundation of structured teachings. Because the other thing with me is what I do in a healing session, even on this YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel with healings, I have a karmic responsibility for that. So anything that I put out or I do with others, I know that it comes back to me, and I take it really, really seriously. This is why when people are like, I've got this serious health issue, can you create a free healing? It's very specific to me, but can you create this for this really serious health issue and put it on the internet for me personally? And it's like, no, because I don't know what that's going to do to someone's energy body, and I do not want to harm anyone. And that's why the general healings need to be very general and fluffy. They're powerful, yes. The energy is running, and it's sharp, and it's concise, and it will be what you need. But I can't dig in there if I'm not sitting with you one-on-one. You need to do a private session for that. And then people will say, well, I can't afford a private session. Okay, look up a free healing clinic near you. Pranic Healing does free healing clinics in all cities, countries, and go get a free healing if you can't invest in the healing. I mean, by showing up, you're still investing. So there are ways around it. So in that case, I wouldn't be the healer for you, but please find someone that can help you, because my whole thing is I just want to help. And when I was in the position, and over the years when I'm in positions where I need help, I'm so grateful that someone has learned something that can help me. And it goes back to us all being drawn to certain things at certain times that others resonate with because it's part of our path. So it's not to say anything poor about Reiki. If you do Reiki and that's your path and people are resonating with it and drawn and you love it, that's perfect. That's where you're supposed to be. I was there at some point. My soul evolved out of it into something new. And now I'm going up the pranic healing ladder. But I'm also learning shamanic stuff too, because of one of my mentors, and I'm drawn to it. So I've learned those techniques that I've incorporated with my clients, and they'll say, I don't know what you did last time, but that was really helpful. And I know what I did. I did the shamanic work. So, and all souls aren't going to come in and want that. That's why it's so personal, because every soul is at a different stage. Every soul can handle what they can handle at that time. So I can't just barrage the internet with energy that people can't handle. That would be irresponsible of me. And there is an element of needing to do something more privately. And like I said, there's lots of practitioners all over the world. Trust what you're drawn to. Maybe it's me, maybe it's not me. That's why we have so many of us, because we're here to serve the planet. So that is all I wanted to share on that. And I hope it clears things up. That is why my titles say energy healing, because Reiki, pranic healing, the stuff I learned with Deborah King, all the shamanic technique, it's all energy healing. It's just forms of energy healing. So to me, it's more integrity to say energy healing as opposed to pranic healing, Reiki. I mean, I'm not going to list it all out. This is a Reiki, pranic healing, shamanic. I mean, come on. I'm not going to do that. It's the internet. And most people are not going to understand it anyway. They don't know what it is. They just know it makes them feel better. And on many levels, that's all you need to know. Can it help you? Does it feel pure? Does it feel like it resonates? And if it does, then trust that, because you're powerful. Your soul is smart. You're smart. And we're all being led and guided. So that's all I wanted to share. Let's go into a healing. Okay, and so it is. Friends, thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. As always, we would love to have you over on Patreon, the High Vibe Lightworker Tribe. And I want to wish you a beautiful week. Take care. Bye-bye.